Hey folks, this is Kelani. With Season 2 of Battle for Azeroth now live, our potential item level has gone up quite significantly. You might be ready to hop straight into the Battle of Desert Allure, or you might be coming back and need a helping hand getting up to speed. Either way, we're all shooting for the stars right now, or at the very least that 415 item level mark and beyond. A lot of the higher item level gear is going to come from the usual places, the new raid and the new Mythic Plus season, but to take advantage of those loot drops you're probably going to need to clear the 370 mark at the very least. Anyone who's been playing for a while should be up there already, but for anyone who's returning, let's get you through the catch up stuff real quick. So normal dungeons are being bumped up to 340 item level, which gives you a pretty huge boost when you're doing 120. You can spam normal dungeons or buy up some of the new 340 crafted gear. Dungeons will take longer but be cheaper overall. Crafted gear is super fast but more expensive. The Arathi Warfront also still drops 340 gear, so if that's up and something you're interested in, have at it. The next step would be getting your hands on 355 gear. I would completely ignore Uldir at this point personally, and it's probably going to be hard to get a group anyways, but the good news is that Heroic Dungeons drops 355 item level loot now, so you can spam some more dungeons to work on your item level very quickly. The Darkshore Warfront will also drop 355 gear, so if Darkshore Warfront is up and you want to spam that instead, there's another option for you. Getting into the 370 realm shouldn't be too hard either. Mythic dungeons will be dropping 370 gear and you can clear each dungeon once per week. They also shouldn't be too difficult to get through, especially if you get a few friends to tag along with you. Gearing up in a group where everyone shares the same armor type is insanely fast if you've never tried that before, and the Arathi Once Per Cycle quest and World Boss will still drop 370 gear if you still need a quick pick-me-up. World quests will also be scaling up a little bit higher. I've been seeing 360 rewards from many world quests since the update went live, so keep an eye out for anything that can help fill in your lower item level slots. Remember that does scale with you as your item level increases, so if you're not seeing 360 rewards just yet, you will see them eventually. You just need to increase your item level. Some trinkets from world quests are actually still super powerful, so they're definitely worth looking into. Perhaps the easiest source of upgrades at this point actually comes from emissaries. Their loot will scale higher now, so you can very easily pick up 385 Azrai armor pieces or 385 random slot pieces depending on the emissary reward. The faction assault rewards also scale at the same rate, so if you see 385 from your emissaries, you should get 385 pieces from completing the faction assaults as they come up too. If you're missing some key slots, especially those Azrai pieces because you weren't able to get into Mythic Uldir, this will fill in those gaps quite nicely. These new pieces of Azrai armor will also have that extra ring, so even if you're rocking 385s already, emissaries can still be worth it for the extra trait. From here, you should be ready to gear up using some of the new higher item level loot. Mythic Plus is still going to be one of the best places to get easy upgrades. Everything will get boosted up in Season 2, so a +2 and +3 key will reward you with 375 loot in the end of dungeon chest, +4 will give you 380s, +5 and +6 will give 385s, +7 you're looking at 390, +8 and +9 will reward 395 gear, and keys at +10 and above will reward item level 400 gear in the end of dungeon chest. So you can get past item level 400 by just running Mythic Plus keys over and over again, especially if you can clear the keys at +10 and above. For the first week, this will be restricted to item level 385 gear max, so you won't see higher rewards past a +6 key, but that is only for the first week. Your Mythic Plus cash is going to be just as important as ever. Getting a +2 key done will give you 380 gear in your weekly cash, +3 is 385 gear, +4 and +5 will net you 390 gear, +6 is 395 gear, +7 and +8 will give you 400 item level loot, +9s are a notch above that with 405 gear, and getting a +10 key or above done for the week will leave you with 410 gear in your weekly Mythic Plus cash. So that's a 410 piece of gear every week you can clear a +10 key, which will add up super fast and help you get above 400 item level on your character pretty easily. Even though the gear from your cache is going to help out enormously, the most important part is arguably the Titan Residuum. For this first week, we'll get Season 1 rewards from the chest, so don't be too surprised if you get kind of lackluster stuff, which means we'll get what we've been getting since the start of BFA. But next week, our rewards will scale up to the Season 2 level. For gear, that means a sizable item level increase, but for Residuum, we're going to be collecting about 10 times as much as we were in Season 1. If you get a +4 done in Season 2, you will get the 60 Residuum reward that we were getting for the plus 10 in Season 1, but the crazy part is the rewards for 10 keys and above. A plus 10 key in Season 2 will give you 625 residuum in your weekly cash, with each level above 10 increasing that by about 40, with diminishing returns. If you manage to get a plus 15 key done, which is going to be pretty hard for sure, but a plus 15 key will reward you with over 800 residuum in your weekly cash. If you hop on over to the Azeroth armor vendor right next to your weekly seals vendor, you should see some updated rewards here as well. You can purchase 385, 400 and 415 item level Azeroth armor tokens and 415 specific pieces of Azeroth armor. So collect up your Titan residuum for getting at least one Mythic Plus cash done every week, and hop on over to this chat to pick up your 400 or 415 tokens. Buying those random tokens might seem like a bit of a waste, but that's definitely the best use of residuum, because those 415 specific tokens, that's gonna take quite a while to get enough residuum. They're 7.1 thousand each. So, just keep yourself out in 400 or 415s, whatever's really quick to get. You don't have to rely on RNG anymore. If you don't get any Azerite drops from the raids, it's not going to be the end of the world. You can buy Azerite armor whenever you want, providing of course you're getting your Mythic Plus keys done every week, so you actually have some residuum to spend. So be sure to fill in those gaps as you're able and get those Mythic Plus keys done each week. It's also worth mentioning that the once per cycle quest for the Darkshore Warfront will now reward item level 400 gear as well, so keep an eye out for that. The Darkshore World Boss has also had its rewards bumped up to 400 item level, so those two things should still be on your to-do list to take advantage of the pretty crazy item level rewards for how easy you can get through that content. But the most exciting part of this update is going to be the new raid, which will obviously have all sorts of goodies for you to bump up that item level even further. Clearing through normal Desert Lore will give you a chance at 385 gear, which is on par with Mythic Uldia, so we're hopping up item levels pretty quickly this time around, and I don't really think anyone will be heading back to Uldia anytime soon because of this. If you can step up to Heroic Desert Lore, you have a chance for 400 item level loot, which is the highest you can get from Mythic Plus, and it's also the item level that Darkshore caps out at now, just to give you a little comparison. But if you can go to the very tippy top and take on Mythic Desert Lore, which opens up a week after normal and heroic, you can take home some crazy 415 item level loot. So that's where the highest loot is going to come from, and Mythic Desert Lore will stay 5 item levels above the highest weekly Mythic Plus cash loot too, so you can't beat Mythic raids for item level right now. If you really want to show off your item level, you're going to be needing to raid Mythic Desert Lore. Be sure to pick up those seals before heading into the Desert Lore raid as well, as that's probably going to be the best place to use your rerolls. We're still using the same seals as we did for Uldia, so hopefully you're able to stockpile a few for this week. Ideally you should have 5 in your currency tab going into this week, so you can spend 2 before picking up your weekly seals to set you back up to 5. Depending on whether you plan to head into Mythic Desert Lore or not, you can save all 7 for Heroic, or save a few for next week and reroll on every Mythic boss you're able to kill. I don't think the first few bosses will be a pushover this time around, so you might want to spend them in Heroic to get as much gear as possible. Some of the bosses in Desert Lore look really fun, but it's also pretty difficult from what I've seen. It's going to be awesome seeing how far we can get in the first week. The week that Mythic opens up, the Raid Finder will also start to open up. This time around, the Raid Finder will reward 370 item level gear, so if you're taking things slow this expansion, you might be able to find a few upgrades in there. Honestly, Mythic Dungeons is probably way faster, but at least Raid Finder gives you a chance to see the raid and collect some of the cool new transmog. One slot that you won't be able to upgrade very easily is your amulet. The only way to get additional item levels that we know of at this point is to level up your Heart of Azeroth by collecting more artifact power. You can do that passively through raiding or dungeons, or you can actively clear off world quests, do your emissaries, and even knock out an island or 2 every week. The amulet will cap at level 50, so there is a goal you can work towards right now. If you manage to get to level 50, you won't have to farm any more artifact power until the next patch comes around, which will be changing the way the artifact works entirely. From what we know, we won't have to regrind or work to re-unlock any of our Azerite traits again after this patch, which is definitely something to look forward to. If you fancy a bit of a break from PvE and dungeons and raids and all the usual gearing up methods, you can dip your toes into PvP if you want to. All of the rewards from PvP have also been bumped up 30 item levels, including the rewards from your Conquest cap and your weekly chest. You can collect Conquest from faction assaults with War Mode on, any form of PvP, including random battlegrounds and all the rated stuff, and if you actually win, you can gear up very quickly if you get a bit lucky with the end of game rewards. If you lose a lot, or if you're just unlucky, you could go without gear for a while, so PvP is definitely an option if you love to PvP and have a bit of patience, but it's not going to be quite as reliable as some of the PvE options. especially if you aren't playing rated arenas or battlegrounds and if you're not winning. On top of everything, the Titan Forge cap has also been increased to 425, so if you get super duper uber mega lucky, which let's be honest we already hate you for, you can see any item from any source at any time, Titan Forge all the way up to 425 item level. Congratulations to you, you should have bought a lotto ticket instead. Remind me again why Titan Forging is good for the game? But that's how you can get your item level all the way up to 415 and above in Season 2 of Battle for Azeroth. Are you excited to finally hop into the new raid? Or will you spend most of your time in Mythic Plus dungeons or maybe even some battlegrounds? Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.